This episode of this Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey is brought to you by energy healer Jean Border's personal, powerful transformation program. Know you're leaving money on the table, but can't figure out how to bring it in? Need to double your productivity and profitability? Need an extra push to get things moving in the right direction? Visit www.focusedpracticaldreamer.com/transformation now and apply for a business consultation with Jean. Welcome to the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey, where we take out your emotional baggage and heal your emotional body so you get to enjoy the success you desire and deserve. Prepare to feel a sense of relief and empowerment as we get rid of the baggage you've been carrying that's held up your business success up until now. Be sure to visit our website at www.focusedpracticaldreamer.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now, lean in, get comfortable, and prepare to take off.
Hi, everyone. It's your host, Jean Border, with the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey podcast. Before we get started with my exceptional guest, I want to mention something that I've been offering up because so many of my clients have been hit with certain financial issues. And so I've created a help for people. If you're into tapping, EFT tapping, there's a link at the bottom of the page. Just click on that. It'll take you right to a few tapping rounds that might help you calm your nervous system down a little bit and push past whatever's been holding you up, whatever's been freaking you out when it comes to your current financial situation, so that you're able to make calmer decisions when it comes to your money. Okay? So now that that's out of the way, I have a really cool guest. This is Charmaine Diallo. How are you doing, Charmaine? Nice to meet you on here.
I'm fine, Jean. Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you again. So talk to the listeners a little bit about what it is you do. And I'm all excited about this one.
All right. Yes, my name is Charmaine Diallo. I'm with my company Recall Truth, and I help business owners who want to pay themselves more to use ancient wealth principles to receive more money than they've ever received in their business, and by working in their life's calling with ancient wealth formula.
And now you see why I was so outrageously excited to have her here on this day. What I just said, so many of my clients are having financial stress within their body.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about ancient principles.
Yes. So, Jean, I'm excited too, because it hasn't been that long since I've discovered it, less than a year. And honestly, there are things that anyone can do, whether you're an accountant, a massage therapist, it doesn't matter. Everyone has their own unique money formula, and it has several parts to it. One of them is actually a money day. There's a day of the week where you can do certain activities in your business that are going to give you the best results. So for myself, as an example, Thursday is my money day, and I hold all my sales conversations as much as I can on Thursday. And it makes a big difference. You're more magnetized towards money. You pull more of what you want to you on your money day.
Okay, so we're going to have to spend some time on this because my focus lately, like a lot of people, has been in my journal every day. The number one goal is income generation.
Right.
And I put that on there every day, even if I'm not actually doing a task directly related to income generation, so that that energy exists.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And so that when I look at that every morning as I write it down, I'm like, okay, so what little step could I take today that would help get me there, right? Mm-hmm. Because I tell my clients all the time, one step every day. You've got to take that one step every day, because if you don't take any steps, you're never going to get where you want to go, right?
Right.
So talk to me about Money Day. Is it the same for everybody? How do we figure out what it is? Do we just make one up? Well, talk to me about that.
Well, if you're spiritual, you could probably check with your pendulum or check with your guides. I work with people's guides, so I just ask them directly. But honestly, if you are a spiritual person, you can even just look back at your calendar. Say, go back 2 or 3 months and see when you've had your most successful sales appointments. That can be an indication as well. Before I understood the principles, I noticed a lot of my sales conversations just happen to fall on Thursday, and you can start to notice patterns, even if you're not maybe into woo as much. You can still look for patterns, things that are predictable, things you can quantify and start to see, oh, this works for me,
Okay, so I have to go back and look at that. And that's sort of easy for me because I have an online calendar, right? So I can see when most of my appointments hit.
Exactly.
And that's funny because there are certain days I like to work more than others.
Mm-hmm. You're probably already in tune with it.
If that makes sense. Yeah, there are certain days that I seem to have client after client after client, and other days it's like, one here, one there, take a break in between, that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's really cool. So talk to me about the ancient principle part of that.
Sure. So besides the money day, you also have a money color. And so the money color, yes, color is energy.
Yes.
So you have your own, energy attraction. But when you wear your color, it's like you're magnetizing your own ability to pull people and money to you. This works for dating. It works for all types of things. It's just attraction, right? So once you figure out your color, you also want to wear that on your money day, of course, but you can wear it at any time to just improve your results.
So if I look in my closet, I would say it's way more than half is blue. So that's probably a small hint that blue is, and look at my background, look at what I'm wearing, right? That I have an affinity for the color blue in various shades, right? I'm even wearing, I don't know if you can see it, but this reminds me of, I'm very drawn to water. So this reminds me of snorkeling and scuba diving in the Caribbean in Puerto Rico, where I used to go multiple times a year. I had a friend there. It was a scuba diver, and it was just fantastic. Yeah. So I'm drawn to blue. Yeah. So I'm going to have to, I use muscle testing a lot.
There you go.
So I'm going to have to explore that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's very interesting as well, because like on Tuesday, that's my day for connection and meeting people. And that day, I'm still supposed to wear blue, which is my money color, but I'm supposed to mix it. Like I'm supposed to have multiple colors together. It's kind of like mixing energies. And so there's a lot to it. It's not just, okay, on Thursdays, I wear this. There's more. Exactly. So you've probably already connected. Go ahead.
When you first said money color, the first thing that came in my head was green, because dollar bills are green, right?
Right.
And I carry dollar bills with me because of the energy of those and all that stuff. But I'm not drawn to green.
Right.
Green is a relaxing color, not a magnetism color for me.
Right. Yeah.
So I have very few things in my wardrobe that are green unless they're just green with oranges. So
right.
For the contrast. So I'm guessing the green is not my money color, even though that was the first thought that popped into my head.
Yeah. Well, yeah, money is green in this country. Exactly.
Exactly. Over in Europe, I had the euro. I lived in Italy for 5 years, and they were on the euro there. So their money is all different colors.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yeah. So it's more about you than the money,
Yeah. So. And your perception and your, what is the word? There is something that you're drawn to, and it's not magnetism. Oh well, I'll think of it later. But there is some reason why some energy around various colors. And you said multiple colors like this. This is multiple colors. It gives me a different feel than if I just wear navy. Navy is professional. It's reserved. It's power, but it's a different kind of power than this would be, right?
Right. And then also navy has black in it, which is not maybe one of your colors. You know, it just depends. You look great in what you have on. That's probably, you know, the right combo for you. And so it depends. Like you said, I don't care for green either, but there are times when it's good for me to wear green. That's when I want to be diplomatic. Like maybe there's a family argument and I want everybody to get along. So I wear green, but it's not like in my money spectrum, so to speak.
Now, I do love like lime green, fluorescent green. Oh, I love fluorescent colors. I don't know that that's a money attraction. That's a fun. That's a enjoyment.
Feels fun.
For me. Yeah.
So you seem like you're already, you know, in tune with that. And the last part of the formula is your calling. And this is the one where people get surprised a lot. When they have a reading with me, they are surprised that the angels are telling them, you know, to do X. And they thought, I was supposed to do Y. I'm over here. I did all this training. It's like, well, no, you know, that's what you thought. And it's okay. That was experience. But here's where you're actually supposed to be, you know. So that's the key. That's how you get universal aid behind you and, you know, helping your business.
And when I pay attention, I find those things to be very obvious. So many things that people say, oh, you need to do this in your business for marketing. I'm like, no, I don't want any part of that, you know? So I take the classes and then no. That's fine. I some of it, the marketing I call extrovert marketing, and I'm an introvert. So it doesn't sit well with me at all. And if it doesn't sit well with me, why would I spend my time torturing myself to do that?
Right. Exactly. And then your ideal client is also not going to be attracted. So it's a waste of your time, like you said. Yeah. So
how has that impacted your business? How did you start your business, by the way? How did you get from where you started to where you are now?
Oh, gosh, Jean, I was struggling when I first started my business. I was excited, you know, like a lot of new entrepreneurs, but I wasn't converting. Nothing was happening. I mean, very little. I was keeping the lights on, basically. I was not paying myself. It was embarrassing, you know. My husband's looking at me like, hey, are you going back to work? What are you going to do? And it was just like, okay, well, no, I'm not going back to work, but I also have to, you know, make something happen. And I remember it was one Saturday morning, my guides gave me a message and they're like, hey, you're going to help healers to make a lot of money and you're going to help them build their business. And I'm like, are you serious? I mean, I was really mad. Like, I don't usually get angry when they tell me stuff. I was just like, what? I was here struggling, asking you to help me. And I'm supposed to help other people and I don't even know how to help myself. I was pissed. That's tell the truth. But they were like, just chill. We'll help you out. And then finally, like, they gave me this formula and I put it to work. And like the next week, I was fully booked. And it was the first time that I had ever had a client pay in full for a couple of months. You know, it was just like, this has never happened before. What's going on? You know, like, I can start paying myself finally, you know. Amazing. And it was like, follow instructions. That's all. You know, just follow instructions. Yeah.
So what were some of the biggest obstacles you had to face once you actually started following instructions?
I would say, you know, then you go the other way. You start to feel like overwhelmed, like, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. I have all these clients. It's like, get organized. You know, you can handle being busy. That's what you wanted. Just get organized. That was the biggest thing in getting support, you know, having people to handle some administrative things that maybe you had time to do when you weren't busy, you know, things like that, and not trying to run your business like a job, you know, thinking of freedom, finishing by a certain time, not like I have to be in my seat 9 to 5. Those types of mindset things had to change. Yeah.
I think time is one of the first obstacles that people going into business can let slip and need to be aware of. Set your hours, stick to your hours. When the day is done, turn the key in the lock and pay attention to your family.
Yeah.
Or your friends or whatever is going to keep you balanced between work and living, right?
You said it, balance.
So many times the people that feel stressed in their job that I speak with are so concerned with, well, I don't want to lose any income because I need everything I can get, that they relax those boundaries to the point where they don't have boundaries. And so their clients, a lot of the people that I work with I mentor healers as well. Okay. So when they're starting in that process, it's very easy to let fear come in. If I don't take this client, I'm going to lose out on that money and they'll never come back. And then that wasn't your client in the first place, right? But it's hard sometimes to let go of the fear that I don't have a steady paycheck coming in. So I need to help that client out when they text me at 9:30 at night.
Yeah. Yes.
No.
That is.
I mean, if it's that urgent, they can call 911 and have an ambulance take them to the hospital, right? There aren't that many things that are that critical at 9:30 at night. So taking care of yourself first.
For sure.
And understanding your worth.
Yeah. And why you started your business. Why did you start your business? You didn't start it for another job. That's not your reasoning. Most people want time and money freedom. So that's part of the self-care too. It's just.
Why did you decide on Recall Truth?
Well, I feel that healers are not, healing is not a verb, I believe. I believe that healing is a state of being and that no one actually heals you. They just kind of wait with you while you remember who you are. So Remember Truth wasn't available. So Recall Truth.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Remember who you are.
Because I am a healer. And a lot of people just want me to fix them. Well, I fix you, you fix you, right?
There we go. Yeah,
I facilitate, I translate what your body's saying, but it's if you don't want to see a change, you won't see a change.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So no matter what I do, it's not like I'm doing it to you. You're deciding that something else will happen.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Interesting. So when somebody comes to you, what's the first thing you do when working with a brand new person?
Well, first of all, it depends on why they come. But if they are a business owner that wants to increase their income, I'm checking with their team. And their team, I mean, they're angels. They have a guardian angel, but they also have angels that are in charge of, growing their business, and angels in charge of their purpose, and it may not be their business. That's what I run into a lot. People who are struggling, but it's because they're trying to be a dog groomer and they're supposed to be doing XYZ. So in that case, we get them clear on what they're supposed to be doing. And I make sure they know their money day and, their whole money formula. But the main thing is make sure they're spending their time where they're supposed to be. Sometimes people are in the right calling, but they're working with the wrong group. I have a client, she's supposed to work with young girls and suicide prevention. And she was trying to work with corporate women because that's kind of what her coach was telling her. Hey, this is the group for you, blah, 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 blah. And nope, she was supposed to work on middle schoolers and early high school. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of us fall into that trap. We see somebody making money with a certain group and that's what works for them. So that's what they push everybody else into doing, because they know that the process is there. Just follow this process. And that is something that I do see. And it creates internal conflict, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. Because you're thinking you're following a path that's going to get you to success, but it's not working because you don't have any backing from the universe. That's what I call it. Your angels are not backing you up if you're not on your path. It's not that they don't like you, and it's just they're over there and you're over here. You got to go meet them on that correct path. Yeah.
And for a lot of people, there's so many things they can do. And choosing what to do can be stressful.
Yeah.
Because they see somebody who's done it this way and they're successful. I should do that, but I don't really want to do that. But look what I don't
Right.
like the money.
But it did work.
Yeah, I mean, it works for them, and I could do that. But they're a different personality. They have a different background. They have a different experience of life than you've had.
Exactly right.
So many factors come into play when you're not comfortable where you are.
And it's hard to figure it out by yourself because if you're in the middle of it, you can't tell until it's too late, right?
Yeah. Well, until you spend a lot of money going down that other path thinking, am I going to live my life this way? You might as well have a job, right? You might as well go back to your 9 to 5 where somebody else is telling you what to do because in essence, somebody has told you what to do.
Right.
And you're following along even though you don't really feel like that's, I'm going to use energy words, in alignment
Yeah.
with what you think or feel or believe or want to have happen just so you can make more money.
Just to be predictable. Yeah. Yeah.
So talk to me about some specifics, some clients that have come to you and have changed their focus. Like you mentioned one who went from, should be working with middle schoolers.
Right. Right. Yeah. So I can start with her. As soon as she started to target schools instead of corporations, she got a lot more tracking. She was able to have talks, she was talking to teachers, she was able to work with parents. So, she's still working with adults, but ultimately serving the kids. And so it was like before she wasn't getting callbacks, things weren't happening. And when nothing's happening, it's hard to know, is nothing working or am I doing it the wrong way? There's a lot of questions. But when it's working, there's no question that you're on the right path. Another example is I actually trained someone in a modality that I've created. And she was using her healing abilities before she came to me, but for divorcees. She thought because she had access to a lot of people who were in that realm, that was her gig, so to speak. But when I showed her, she was actually supposed to be on another area that she was supposed to be doing still healing work. She started getting clients. And I'm not talking about they fell out of the sky, but she was getting callbacks. And when she put in, the time that they say, you got to do calls, you got to do this, you got to do that, people were responding. And, she stays fully booked now because she's doing what she's supposed to do. And I hadn't even taught her the ancient wealth formula. It was just really getting her in alignment, as you said, with her calling. And the rest was just, little tweaks here and there. Yeah.
So what's a technique that someone might utilize to determine if they're even working with the right type of clientele?
I usually ask the angels. So if someone didn't have access to that, for example, I would say you have to use your own feeling. And sometimes that can get in the way, right? If you try to do it mentally, but you mentioned muscle testing. And I think that muscle testing is an excellent tool. I use it myself. And I teach my clients to do that. And the way I would suggest it is for them to make statements instead of asking questions. And, things like, I'm in the right line of business right now. I have the right target market, and getting yeses and nos with those types of things. And just try to narrow it down as far as you can.
I think muscle testing is outrageously useful in so many situations.
So many.
But I also think there's an art to it.
Yeah.
You have to be as specific as you can possibly be, and then only allow it to be a true or false statement.
Correct. Nothing subjective. You're right.
The broader your question, the more, I'm going to say, insufficient answer you're going to get.
That's correct. That's with anything in life. That's with anything. But I also want to mention a lot of people are blocked to knowing their life's purpose. So even if they did, the muscle testing and it's really good with the body, but if they have resistance, they're going to have a hard time getting the right answer. And they may get like confirmation that what they're doing is fine, And sometimes that is true, but sometimes they get the wrong answer because they're like, I don't want to do that thing that I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, even as healers, sometimes we get in our own way. And so it's very common for one healer to ask another healer, test this for me and see what you get.
Absolutely. Yeah, I do it. Everyone does it, and or at least they should consider it because that other person doesn't have any stake, find someone who doesn't have a stake in your answer and you'll get the best answer.
Because sometimes there can be hidden benefits to illogical beliefs.
Exactly. It seems illogical until you see the big picture. Yeah.
Yeah. From an adult point of view, it's like, really? What? But, if there are side benefits to staying the way you are, then why, the change is more scary.
Right.
Than status quo.
Yeah. And I don't know how deep you go with your woo on your show, but, in past lives, if your calling was dangerous, you may not be interested this lifetime because your subconscious is remembering last time we did that, not good.
And genetic memory also, right? If you're, if your ancestors were part of a genocide, there are so many things that make the world a scary place.
Oh, yeah.
And anywhere where you are the least bit unprotected is not in your best interest, in your, what your body feels about it.
Right. It's there. Your subconscious is there trying to protect you. And little do you know.
And with business owners at various stages of growth, at some point, visibility can become scary.
Yeah.
Right? First going into business is scary. Sometimes it's people using their voice, their true voice, so that their words are heard, as opposed to, well, this person told me to do this, so I'm doing that. There's no fear there because all the blame, if you will, all the responsibility is on the person who told you to do it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So at various stages of business growth, fear of visibility or fear of speaking your truth can come into play and can slow down your progress.
Absolutely.
And that's just something that we need to be aware of. And when it comes up, when things keep stalling, it's like, am I playing a role? Is my energy playing a role? Right?
Yeah.
Funny stuff.
Yeah. It's like instant feedback, right?
Yeah. So talk to me about why you just decided to start a business in the first place.
Well, that's funny you should ask. I'm just kidding.
Well, we all have different reasons. And, we say, oh, I got tired of my boss or I want to be my own boss, but there's typically something else there.
Right. Yeah. For almost 2 decades, I was having trouble sleeping and I was exasperated. And I don't know why, but I mentioned it to one of my ex-coworkers. And she told me about going to a psychic. And I'm like, oh, what? At the time, there was no way I was going to go to a psychic. And the psychic told me that I couldn't sleep because I had an ability and I needed to harness it. So long story short, in the process of learning to harness it, I got really interested and I started enjoying myself. And I thought, this is interesting. I want to help other people. And that's how I got going. And of course, my daughter inherited the ability from me and she started waking up in the middle of the night. And she was way past that waking up in the middle of the night stage. So it was like, I got to figure this out. So all of that.
And that brings up another point. So many times we're willing to do something uncomfortable because it will benefit somebody else.
Yeah, it's true.
In this case, your daughter. I had to figure it out. I think it's something, you said something like that. That's the energy I got from it.
Yeah, it's true. How was I going to explain to my husband why our kid that was way past waking up in the middle of the night was getting up and like running around upstairs? How do you explain that to somebody? Like, this can only happen a few times. We got to figure this out.
So when people come to you, are they already open to the idea of intuition or angels, or is that typically the people who come to you?
Just a little bit. It's funny because most of the people that come to me, they're okay with like Reiki and, some of the energy work, but I do heavier energy and I work with, speaking to the other realms and things like that, which some people are like a little dangerous, but the people who come to me, that's their true calling. And, because I've attracted them to me. And so there's a lot of education that I give, and also clearing fear, because that's the way that I grew up. So I can empathize with them. I grew up in a very religious home, and it was like, none of that. Woo. Don't even talk to me about that. Very practical. So
Woo has become a less scary word than it used to be. Or maybe that's just because I talk to so many people who use the word in common, in just general conversation. But it used to be that was just this weird, far off thing that was dangerous and scary. And now it's like,
You're right. More people are talking about it. I heard some, look, I'm telling my age, but some 20-year-old talking about, which looks like a kid to me, was talking about you have big energy, or some hip hop song or something. I couldn't even listen to it, but it caught my, those lyrics caught my attention. And I'm like, this is really becoming mainstream. Even if people don't know exactly what they're talking about, it's like, not a big deal. You and I remember on when olive oil wasn't a big deal. It wasn't considered a health food. Yeah.
And now they're saying it's actually not as healthy as it used to be. It's just empty calories. And all the studies that were done on people who ate more natural diets. And so it was the lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now that those people are eating more Americanized diets, the numbers don't support olive oil being healthy like it was before. It's just like any oil, right?
Yeah.
But it was the lifestyle that was impacting the results.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
There's nothing new under the sun. It's just whatever is being promoted. But I'm glad the energy is being promoted in a way where people are seeing it.
Yeah, I'm glad it's becoming more normalized. I get the feeling that we've always had the ability, but there was resistance, so we forgot it over time. Intuition is what I use a lot, right? Mm-hmm. But intuition is a tool, and it requires usage and building trust in what your intuition says is true. And if you don't trust the thoughts that come in, then you push it away and you don't grow that skill.
That's right.
That's my normalized way of explaining kind of what I do. Because I work with clients who have beliefs that are totally different than mine. Mm-hmm. Whatever comes up in the session is whatever comes up. And with no judgment, right? I don't have to believe what they believe for me to be able to work through whatever it is with them, right? I just have to trust that that is their belief, and what they believe to be true is true for them,
right?
Regardless of what I think. Right. So the only thing that matters is the client's belief, the client's growth, the client's results.
Right. Yeah, it's their reality. Exactly. Yeah. Absolutely.
So talk to me about your ideal client. What would that look like for you?
Well, my ideal client is a business owner who, was kind of where I was, that they're keeping the lights on, but they're not paying themselves as much as they want. And they're willing to consider making some changes, mindset changes. Yes, I help with that, but also making some behavioral changes and maybe even needing to change what they're doing. People who are realizing what I'm doing is not working. I want to work for myself, but maybe this is not the right space, or maybe I need a different target audience, or maybe a different method of delivery, etc. People who are open to making a change. And it could be a small tweak. It could be a total overhaul. It just depends on where you are. Yeah.
What are some of the small tweaks you've gone through with some of your clients?
So to me, a small tweak would be, using your money formula. The money formula is, to me, not a big tweak, except for the calling if you're like way off course. But, simple things like, working with your target audience, doing video instead of just posting. Simple things, how you nurture the people that you're supposed to work with. That's a difference for some people. Some people need their magnetism and their energy on print, and they're better with that. Some people are better with videos and their actual presence and their voice. So that to me is a small thing. It's easy to switch videos over to print or vice versa. Yeah.
It's funny. I never know how these conversations are going to go, but when people bring things up, I just spit it out. Even though I started a podcast, I had no desire to start a podcast, but it just showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I love these conversations. I told you I'm an introvert. I don't want to go out and try to find people to sell to. 95% of my business is just referral, period.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm on a few professional sites, but I don't advertise, right?
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things I was told to do was, you've got to post on this, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And I'm not. So at what point do you say, no, this is not for me? Like, there's one platform that I've posted probably at least 5 times a week for a year and a half, 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
At what point do I say, I haven't even gotten one client from that? Why am I spinning my wheels? Why am I spending money on this? Right?
Yeah, I think it depends, like you said, on the investment. And if it's a major thing, you may have to decide more quickly something else. But yeah, the return, it's important. You need to track it. And then if it's not giving you what you feel is regular, you may need to leave it. I checked in with, a marketing that I'm investing in today, and I asked for numbers. This is my results, and what are other people getting? And I thought other people were doing way better, because I was getting ready to be like, well, I'm going to pull my investment. This could be the end. And now I'm excited about it because I'm realizing that it's doing much better than I thought. So getting all the information and having it be not an emotional decision, just having all the information is really important.
And something else that can be a stumbling block for new entrepreneurs, for people just in the business, is taking guilt out of the equation. Well, I must be doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just a time issue, right? Mm-hmm. Other times you're in the wrong space, marketing in the wrong space, marketing with the wrong language.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Wrong message, wrong target audience. I mean, there's a lot of places you could go wrong. You have to get some help, either get some angel messages, get some marketing research, get something that's going to give you some direction, because I think a lot of new entrepreneurs are also just anything that comes across their inbox. This was me. I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. It was me. That looks good. Oh, that's only $27. Oh, that's only, $300 course. I can do that. Da, 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 da. And all of them have things that are true. But if you're running off in 50,000 directions, it's going to be overwhelming, and you're probably not going to be able to see results.
And I even find myself falling into that trap. There will be a certain person who's giving a class and I like that person.
Right.
Take the class. And I'm like, why did I sign up for this? I don't even have time for this. Right. So it's like,
Friday.
I'm out the money. I'll just get all the recordings and I'll listen to it later. Well, later is still as busy as it was when it originally happened. And so the later doesn't really bring about me paying attention to the course the way I would have had I not been so busy spinning my wheels or doing whatever, right?
Right.
So sometimes we just jump the gun without being analytical, without saying, do I need this at this point in time, or should I delay until the next time this course is offered? Because it will be offered again. That's just the way it is, right?
Yeah.
But sometimes we get into that scarcity space, which they create with the marketing,
right?
You need it now. You don't want to miss out on this now. This could be the one thing to fix your business, bring you in income, right?
Right.
Yeah, I could if I had the time to pay attention to it.
Right.
And
follow through. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, but you're right. I mean, it's back to what you said about being emotional, making an emotional decision. And yes, I mean, it's the marketing is set up to get you all emotional and move you to action. And some people need that to get going at all, but it can also backfire.
And there are times when it is critical for you and your business. But so many times that I've done it, I've paid huge bucks for big, like year-long programs. I'm like, no. And halfway through, I say, yeah, I just, the time that it's taking me, I'm not getting out of it what I could be utilizing my time in a more productive manner.
Yeah.
So
forgiving yourself when you do that.
Yeah. And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
So you paid out so much money, but at some point it's like, no. I come back to how we started the conversation. No.
Yeah. And that's might be the problem sometimes when people are resisting and they don't have their true answer or their fear. They're going through the scarcity, like you said. So it's hard to tell, is this my ego? Is this my fear? Or is this really not my intuition telling me don't do it? Which one? That can be hard sometimes for people.
Yeah, I think that the video, even though I won't do a video on my own, I just won't do it. I think it's silly to sit there and talk to myself. A lot of people love that. They just go on and on and on and take millions of selfies. And that's so not me.
Wow.
Right. Mm-hmm. I love these conversations.
Right.
And I'm fine, putting these on the air. I think that's great. Hopefully people get something out of it that will keep them from, tripping and falling or slowing down their business. But for me to just get up there and talk, I love to teach. I love to train.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be the look at me person,
Yeah.
So we're all different. We all handle things differently. So on one hand, I love the video. I love this medium, if you will, right? But when I write stuff out, I'll write emails to a point. But it's like they've got other things to do.
Yeah.
So that's this internal thing with me because I get so many emails. I mean, every maybe 3 or 4 weeks, I'll just start unsubscribe.
Right.
When I get more than 100 emails every day that are just, I don't even know how they got my address. Some of them I recognize that I do open. Others, I just like, I probably read I probably get more like 200, but I probably read 40 a day on average. And then some I'll delete, and once in a while it'll be something really interesting. So I do appreciate that people are filling up my inbox with stuff. And on the other hand, it's like, I know they're trying to sell me something.
Right.
So that's that internal conflict.
Yeah.
If I'm going to write, do I want someone else to have that opinion of me? Right? So
yeah.
All the stuff that we have to work through to get through marketing.
Yeah.
So all those things are normal, right? But we all have different personalities and we're drawn to different types of marketing.
Right. Right.
What's your favorite?
I love workshops and webinars. and things. And it made me think of what you were saying. I go with the intention to buy.
Oh,
And so since I'm planning to buy, I have my shopping list, so to speak. And if what they're offering is not on my shopping list, then I make an unemotional decision about it. Is this a tool that I can use? Is this blah, blah, blah? You know, and I enjoy the workshops better. I used to be like, oh, they're seeding their offer. Oh, it's like, oh, okay, what are they going to offer? I got my grocery list, so to speak. Is this on there or no? It's not on. Okay. Well, I can either stay the rest of the time or I can leave the grocery store.
that's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
To sit down and analyze, what do I need in my business? What do I need to learn?
Yeah.
What team do I need to build? What skills do I need that I don't want to have to grow myself, but somebody else loves to do?
Right.
And then make a determination from there. Also, understanding that when they do their sales pitch, you learn a lot if you pay attention to how they do it.
That is awesome.
And just like what you said, here they're seeding their upcoming offer, right?
Right. Yeah.
They're prepping the group for that offer that's coming. Oh, that story is drawing emotion out of me to get me to look forward to that offer. So there's learning that can happen all the way through that. But I really like that idea. Get your list together before you go.
Yeah. Because I don't buy random stuff in the grocery store. Not super random. I might, I need tomato paste.
Yeah,
but yeah, it won't be like I'm buying a TV on impulse, I need tomato paste.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Little bit difference in pricing there.
Right. Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah.
So if listeners don't even know who their ideal clients are or how to attract them, what might you have to help them out?
Well, again, I speak with their angelic team, so a lot of guesswork is gone. But if pretend we didn't have that and they just need to kind of think about it, I would say, who are they working with now that they've gotten the best results with? And if they haven't started or if they haven't had clients yet, who would they like to? Who is exciting or who have they helped or seen helped that's getting the result that they want to give? And, think about that. And if that's still confusing, then think about why they started their business. Who did they start it for? I mean, they started it for themselves, but who else? Who else did they start it for? Were they inspired by their kids' friends? I have a client, she was inspired by her kids' friends. She feels like the generation, I won't say which one, is lost and they need direction. And so she's fired up about helping that generation, and she figured that out by herself because it was like her passion. Yeah.
Cool. And if they still can't figure it out, then they might want
you or I.
Yeah, there we go. But I think you've actually created a little help for them also using some of your principles.
Yeah.
So I will have a link below to a gift that Charmaine is offering for our listeners to help them get a little bit more focused, I'll say, right? On the kind of people they want to attract, because it's very important to understand where you want to spend your time. If you have clients that you just cringe before you ever pick up the phone or get on Zoom or Skype with them, is that how you want to spend your life? Working with people who don't thrill you,
right?
Who don't juice you, who you dread having to work with? So figuring out who you want to spend time with and who you can help with the most ease. Because everybody needs help somehow. It's just a question of which group of people, which segment of people do you want to spend your time helping?
That's right.
So Charmaine's got a free gift. The link will be down below in the notes. We'll take you right to that. If you want to say a little bit about that.
Yes. So again, the ancient wealth formula, it's extremely important to have those three pieces together, your money day, your money color, and your calling. And when you have those three pieces in alignment, you can get help from your angels and the universe you carry out your mission, what you came here for.
Cool.
Yeah.
So also down below, we'll have links to your website and how they can connect with you you're on LinkedIn, Facebook, we're
all of those. Yeah. LinkedIn, Instagram, everybody.
Okay, cool. So do you have any final, we're coming up near the end of our time together, but I want to give you an opportunity if you have any final thoughts or words of wisdom or tips or tricks or anything that you'd like to leave with our listeners before we go.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention one more thing about your life purpose. And sometimes, not always, you'll have a hint of what it is. It'll be that thing that you regret dying and not doing. I'm not talking about bungee jumping, unless that's your calling.
I jumped out of an airplane.
There you go.
Because I didn't know if I could do it, and I didn't want to live my life in fear, so I did it.
Know it. Yeah. That's an amazing reason to do it. So if there's something that work with animals, whatever is coming up for you, and you're like, if I don't at least try that at least one time, that might give you a hint too. It might not. It might be where you're going to meet your spouse or something else, but it might be a hint like, hey, I probably need to check that out. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So we're coming up at the end of our time, and I want to thank Charmaine for being here. I enjoyed our time together. I know I go all different ways, but whatever comes in is what comes in, right?
Yeah.
I also want to thank our listeners for tuning in again. And every Tuesday we have a new episode for you. So I hope you're enjoying these, and I would love to hear some feedback on other types of guests that you'd like to experience. So drop me a line, get in touch. My website is just my name, jeanborder.com. Very easy to find. But I want to thank everyone for tuning in for this latest episode of the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey podcast. Until next time.
Thank you for tuning in to the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey, where we take out your emotional baggage and heal your emotional body so you get to enjoy the success you desire and deserve. Remember to visit our website at www.focusedpracticaldreamer.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Focused Practical Dreamer's Journey.